So, yep. So that's on at the Stilpy Studios YouTube page, which of course has a metric ton of how-to videos. So
It does.
If you're not subscribed to that, you're not a haunter. I'm just gonna say it.
That is well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
So that's our DIY for the week. I will of course post that up on our Facebook page after we are done with the show.
What are you laughing at now?
Speaking of upside down big black panties.
He's still back there.
I'm sure Alan will love that.
I'm done.
You
How to make monster panties.
know. Monster panties.
Did you see what I did there? Did you see what I did there?
Boobies.
There we go.
Why am I here? I feel like I should just get off of this and go spend
He's
time with
laughing.
Aniston.
He's laughing. I'll stop doing it when he stops laughing.
Oh, God. Boys,
I know. We are
settle
boys.
down.
We
All
are
right.
boys.
With saying bad
Speaking
words.
of silly, awesome, hilarious fun. Oh yeah. You know what? I will do that news next week. We'll do that news next week. So I guess the best news I have for you guys today is that we have two of the greatest reviewers and wet floor sign attackers I have ever met in my entire life. Nora and Tyler Prophet.
Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Greetings,
Hello.
my fellow foolish mortals.
Yeah.
I do not have any wet floor signs today, unfortunately.
All right.
Troy
so
made me one, but
lead us into this. What's up with the wet floor signs?
Now we need to know.
For those that don't know.
well, when Norma comes out, Nora drunk,
Your alter ego.
my alter ego, she just does crazy shit. And we were at Trans World, 2 years ago? And there was a wet floor sign in the bathroom, and I decided to have fun with it and came out of the restroom chasing everyone as I was clapping with it. So everybody was like, "Oh, Nora has clap," and it was a funny inside thing.
Troy was there in the line of fire. He got mauled by the wet floor sign.
I was. I was one of the first ones because we were all sitting at that couch area right across from the women's bathroom there, and you came out wet floor sign blazing. And yeah.
That was awesome.
There's
The
a
rest
video
is
of
wet
it.
floor sign history.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So whenever we see a wet floor sign, we always think of each other. That's how this whole industry goes. We all have those little things,
Yep.
Right?
The Hunter's Toolbox question of the week.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is
Oh,
your
yeah.
top 3 tools? What are your top 3 tools as a hunter? Top 3. If you only have... What would you have?
It must be obviously the impact driver, that skill saw, and what that the cordless staple gun I use quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna add a second question to this. What brand do you use? What brand?
Ryobi.
What tool brand? Ryobi! Oh my god. Troy is a
Everything's
Ryobi guy.
Everything's
Not my
Ryobi.
Troy. Not this Troy, my Troy. My
Yeah.
Troy used to be a Ryobi guy. He's a Milwaukee guy now.
This thing,
Yeah.
this thing is like a game changer.
Yeah.
No more pulling cords or air
Rigid
lines around
is
the hawk,
better.
You see something else,
Uh-huh.
you walk up and staple it in. It's
Yeah. That's a question we should add to the rapid fire, Troy.
What's your favorite tool?
Yeah, what's your favorite tool brand?
Messing with Dan's rapid fire.
It's
Don't
like,
do
there's
that.
No way I can do that. Like that's crazy. But me and Jeff got the wings done in 2 days. It took us literally the whole entire day, but we got it done. And I can't even believe it. But you look at those and you think there's no if I hadn't done them and I looked at those, I'd be like, there's no freaking way I could do that. But we did that. So it's you take
all this stuff is so damn large.
Right.
those wings. Those wings took 2 or 3 people to move. Me and Rob moved them, just us 2, but then we needed extra help to move them back into the haunt. And then to get them up, it took a whole crew of people and ropes and everything else.
And how big is that gargoyle?
I don't know.
the wingspan's like.
Well, it's Tuesday night, and you know what that means. The Haunt Hour. With your host, Troy Crivello. Susie Fleesick. And Dan Tonight's guest is the Kevin Alvey, Gore Galore. So sit back, strap in, and welcome to the Haunt Tower.
Well done, Troy. Well done. Well done.
Can you make that noise really, Dan?
I am happy to report that Dan, that Dan did his watch.
I'm not going to lie. I bet you Kevin just heard that and said, shit, I need you to record that. We're going to put that in every haunt.
That was good.
One of the buttons you press. I don't even know how you say it. Can you do it again?
I wasn't even paying attention, and I looked. I was like, "What the hell is that?"
I was watching Troy down in the bottom corner while I was playing. He's just like, "I can't wait! I can't wait!" I knew something.
I worked really hard on that, and it still doesn't look how I wanted it to. But
it's
quick
perfect.
and dirty.
It's perfect. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to another fantastic Haunt Hour. I'm Dan Haunt Guy Doble here with Troy Gore. Just alone. And Susie, I don't have a middle name.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna let
Susie Fangirl Fleesick. That's what we got tonight.
Susie, can you do the can you do the giddy thing again?
Kids. Just calm your kids.
Can you do the giddy thing again just one more time? That was good. What was that? Wow.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is what you come here for, folks. This is what you're here for.
Did our viewers just leave? Did they all leave?
Season 3.
No, we got 2 more.
12.
12.
They heard
12.
People have stayed through 12 of these?
Yeah. Well, this is the 3rd season. So yeah, more than 12.
God.
And interesting, isn't it?
It's probably different people every week, and they just keep dropping.
Hey, Sean.
Probably.
Except for Sean.
When is AI gonna take over this show? Because that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm just
We
just
show up. You know what?
GBT this thing.
I feel like we should chat GBT like a screenwrite or a script for the show. We put in a script and we say, Susie asked this question about the Haunt Hour, and then Dan, and then we just find out what it is, and then we read it because I think it would be pretty funny. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, that could be funny. That could be pretty funny.
I feel like
we could put it.
New segment.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to Chat GPT Hour. Hey, everybody. It's 5 after the hour, everybody. We're here.
You know,
It's rolling from all points of the United States, except for Wisconsin, because that sucks.
Speaking of sucks,
Wow.
hey, who'd you piss off this week? Anybody?
Who didn't I don't know. I don't think I pissed off anybody today.
No, you're not in any Facebook timeouts, or you didn't piss off.
No. I've actually. I mean, if you've noticed, if you've noticed, if you follow me on Facebook, because if you don't, you're not a haunter, or you're smart. One of the two.
I'm smart.
What's kind of funny is that whenever I go on a rant, I get a few more followers and a few more people that like me. So I don't know. Maybe
do you lose them though?
Maybe
some you lose some.
Out.
It probably bounces.
Right. And the ones I lose, sorry, you can't handle it. Whatever. Bye.
You're finding your people. That's what you're doing. You're finding your people.
Right. But also, I am a huge proponent of not having an echo chamber. So I do have people on my friends list who do not agree with me politically, or about Halloween, or about just regular life. I have all types of people on my page. I don't unfriend anybody. I don't block people. I don't
either.
Well, okay. I block the people who call me up or like, put comments on, I've been trying to reach you about my boobies and I want to be your best friend and I want to talk to you and you don't talk. No, I block them. But other than that,
I don't get those messages.
I don't either.
I love not having.
I'm trying to reach you about my boobies.
Kind of wish
it wasn't those exact words, but I was reading between the lines. Okay. But no, echo chambers are bad. Echo chambers are bad in business. They're bad in conventions. They're bad in haunts. They're bad in personal life. You got to have people who challenge you and tell you, no, that's not right.
Agree.
Or at least be able to give you some advice based on a devil's advocate point,
How many times on and off Facebook, Troy, have we had conversations that I don't agree with you?
Oh my God.
100 times. But that makes me and Dan so much more closer and we understand each other a lot better and we respect each other.
As an outsider, because I'm totally an outsider, because you two sometimes in the group chat, you guys go back and forth. And here's me. I'm just like reading, but it always ends with "I love you."
Yes,
of course.
And I love you, and it's done, it's over with, and
and then we're back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, we argue, Dan's wrong, and then we move on. I mean, that's just that simple.
We could argue that all night long, but we're not going to go there.
Right.
It's not about how we're going to make Troy look like he's right tonight. It's just not going to happen.
That's already taking place. But in other
haunting news.
Look at we're just like rolling right along with this night.
I know it's
take us 12 episodes to go. Woo!
Yeah, right into it.
Yeah,
I got news.
So
you got news.
We do have some news. We have some sad news, but also maybe some questionable news. Who knows? We're all here to read what is written and talk. But Fear Fair in Indiana, supposedly the scariest haunted house in Indiana. My stance on that. Everybody has the scariest haunt in the nation, in the Tri-County area, housekeeping, Martha Stewart living. We all know it. We all know you're the scariest haunt in the country. We got it. Okay. To me, the ones that don't put it down are far scarier.
That's us.
What?
We don't do that.
That's it. No, you don't. You just say you're a school of terror. So you're just literally saying you're terrifying, but whatever. Okay.
Every school is terrifying.
If you just said Crawford, I'd be like, yay. But no, you had to add school of terror. So you got to be like, we're terrifying. We're a school. Math. But yes, Fear Fair is sadly closing after 22 glorious years in the Indiana. I think they're in Seymour. I think.
Yes.
Southern Indiana. And they basically what they say is that they had a climber who climbed a rock wall. I don't really know why there's a rock wall in a haunted house midway, but do your thing. But she filed a lawsuit and the insurance company dropped them. I hope that that's just the local insurance companies are not helping with that, because I'm sure that there are insurance companies all over the country who would jump at taking money from a person who's had 22 years of no claims. I don't know an insurance company out there that wouldn't be like, free money.
Yeah.
So who knows? Usually posts like this will get things. People will post up heartstring types things and things, things will happen. Somebody will jump on there and see it and they'll be like, hey, you know what? I run an insurance company, or I help with this, I help with that. And things start happening. But as of right now,
more than that, but yeah,
I think so too. And that's, that's for them to, to have, you can have this. I mean, obviously this happened. It's not like it's a lie. This actually happened. And that's, that is a sad thing that people feel they have to sue because they were in the wrong, and got hurt. And that's on you. I did see on one of the comments, somebody said, well, you should just have a waiver. And we just talked about waivers last week with Craig. And waivers are just a discouragement. They're not a legal tool that will get you out of something like this. If you signed a waiver and you still climbed that thing and still fell, the liability insurance is still a part of the equation, so you can't get away from that.
I think it says that the person
it's a sad thing.
Doesn't it say the person like snuck through or something? It wasn't like they signed a waiver, they agreed to climb, and then they sued, wasn't it? I can't read what
unauthorized.
you
Yeah. No, the person basically didn't pay for it. They didn't pay to climb the rock wall, and they just ran up there and just started climbing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does he? Do
know,
they actually have a rock wall, a climbing rock wall, or is it just a rock?
I mean, it says fell from a rock climbing wall.
Yeah, it's a climbing wall.
No, it says rock climbing wall. Yeah.
Was it open for the attraction? Like, there's a lot of question marks. Like, was it open?
Because I've been to Indiana's Scariest Haunted House, and
yeah, he says in October.
Yeah,
it was in October, and it was a rock climbing wall.
That place is huge, and it's indoor and it's outdoor. Right. I just don't know where he put a rock wall, and I'm very confused by that. But
yeah,
nonetheless,
and even people suggested take down the rock wall and have the insurance, say go back to
there's a lawsuit, and it's got to be pretty large.
Right,
it's got to be,
and that's got to go through before anything
and be done. So
I agree.
Well, I gotta say, as a haunt owner, this scares the shit out of me. It definitely scares me. I also have to say that it's making me think that like maybe we should just, the industry as a whole, stick to scaring, because here we are, we've got rock climbing and axe throwing and jelly ball and paintball, and should we just stick to what we're good at and just call it a day? Like we've got these midways and there's games and there's all this crap that like we're trying to capitalize on having everybody there. And like let's get them to spend money before they even get into the attraction. And I'm guilty of that myself.
And so it's kind of a level too, not to knock anything, but it's all mobile stuff and it's all put together. It's not a facility that is just built to the nines for protection and safety. I mean, don't get me wrong, people don't want anything to happen, but at the same point in time, it's not the same. So I feel you, Susie. I feel like maybe we are, as an industry, trying too hard to spread out and things like this happen.
Yeah, we're trying to get all.
Like if all these places, they have their insurance, they get their insurance for the haunted house, and then they add these things. Is the insurance on all of them? I'm sure plenty of them have that, but is the insurance notified that you added axe throwing, jelly ball, paintball, bounce houses, things like that? Even if it's for the one weekend, does your insurance know that? And what would they do? Would they say, well, now you're adding XXXXX. We were under the impression you were having this haunt, and we approved you for that. Now you're adding this. I would hope. And I will say, I believe that all of them are doing this, because I don't want to think that they aren't, that they're not, that they are telling their insurance company, hey, we added this, it's like you add a trampoline to your backyard. You got to tell the insurance company, because if you don't, and that somebody does get injured, you are not covered, period, the end, so it does scare, and I think that is something that people, I think it's more of a scare via education. Like what you're saying is like, it does, is it going to scare somebody into not doing a haunt? I think it should also scare current haunts into, we need to double check that we are all good. It is May. You have plenty of time to go to your insurance company and say, bam, 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 this is what we've got. Are we good? What happens if this happens? Throw some hypotheticals out there to them and say, I saw this. I want to know where we stand on that, and like we've all said to other haunters who are thinking about going pro, you always say, get the city and the fire marshal and the building people on your side in January. Don't wait till September, So is this kind of the same thing now? Is that we need to say, hey, you need to talk to your insurance companies early and often to make sure that you're still all good with it. You can pay your bill every month, but are you updating them of what you're doing?
Right.
I have no doubt Brett he's an attorney. He's been at this for far too long to have let something like that go to where it's not. He didn't let his people know what was going on at the haunt. Every change he did, I have no doubt that Brett was on top of that.
There you go. Kevin Alvey, our guest, he lives hop, skip, and a jump away, and is friends with Brett. So here we go. Yeah. They have a rock climbing wall in the midway. Someone tried to climb, when the attendant was on a potty break. She incorrectly put herself in the harness.
Yeah, see, and that's, but yet everybody can sue for no reason. I mean, there is no case.
That's their fault. That's their fault.
It is.
Right. We've all been to a haunt
yeah.
where we're like, how in the hell hasn't somebody broken their leg or hit their head and got a concussion and sued this place or gotten, I don't know, tetanus? Like, we've all been to those haunts and they're still open. I mean, I've been to haunts where I'm a short person. I had to duck. And when we're building ours, we're always like, we don't want to make it too difficult for somebody that's taller to get through here. And, of course we have to follow all the compliance things for the state, but it's like, sometimes I'm like, I can't believe some of these haunts haven't gotten sued. It's just the right person at the right place, the right time.
Yep.
Right. Yeah,
absolutely is.
Yeah. So as of right now, the plan is that they will be doing a liquidation sale, probably towards the end of the summer or maybe after Halloween time. I would hope that somebody comes into their chat and says, "Hey, let's talk. I can get you insured. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this." And get them back going. Nobody wants to see a 22-year haunt go down. Period.
And if it's ginormous, what a loss for the city.
Oh yes. Yeah.
It's a huge loss for.
I haven't heard of city. I mean, that's the only part of Seymour I've ever heard about.
I've seen Seymour all the time. Every day I see more.
So you see more what? See more butts?
Every day I see more.
Yeah.
Hey Dan, calm your
probably
tits.
my only other news.
No, I've got more news. I got news.
My only other news.
You're a dick.
Okay. All right.
No.
You're just gonna talk over you. That's all.
It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
What's your news, Dan?
I want to hear your news, Dan.
So
Dan ripped out carpet.
That's not haunt news. We're talking. We're having a liquidation sale here for Fear Fair sometime, but we do have a solid date for the Dark Hour annual yard sale. June 10th. And I'm telling you, I've been to this yard sale. It's fantastic. So if you're
jealous
in or outside of that Texas area, June 10th, Dark Hour is having their annual yard sale. Haunt props, set pieces, and etc. Keep checking here for pictures and some of the items as they get unearthed. Dark Hour has done some spring cleaning and plenty of things. Wait, Seymour. See, because you read today. Plenty of things must go. 9 to 2 only. First come, first serve. Do not make offers or inquiries via Facebook. You can find it on Facebook. Dark Hour Yard Sale. Search it. You'll find the event. Pretty good stuff. Been there.
I want to go.
It's good stuff.
Nope, we're the only ones that sell those.
Actually, Sean, they do. No, Sean, they actually do sell Dark Hour panties at their merch shop.
They don't sell Haunt Hour panties, though.
Not yet.
No, they do not. They do not. Not yet.
I have to tell you,
I'll be there in 1 month.
And when you go, you have to check out the bathrooms. I think Dark Hour arguably has the best bathrooms in the haunt industry.
Wow.
I'm not. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
You got more news there, Troy? Susie, what are we talking about? I'm excited to talk.
I don't. Troy does.
Let's see. So, well, we can, that's not really, okay. I'll run through very quickly. My friend Troy Franz, he loves the Goonies. He's making a Goonies Jeep. And I know haunters love the Goonies. But he
really?
We're losing you.
Really? What? Seriously? Is he fucking with us right now?
Taking this to the next level where be the real live bullet rounds that are in the movie. Yes.
What happened? We lost you for like 30 seconds.
I'm gonna go back. In the Goonies movie, the Jeep has bullet holes, bullet holes in the tailgate. So looks like Troy Franz is going to be shooting holes. Did he shoot them already? Is that coming out or? Troy not talking now?
Yes, it is. It is. Sorry, my internet's going crap today. It's very hot here today.
Well, that's bullshit, dude.
For some reason. I know.
Kick all of those teenagers
I will post
off.
it up on our. I know, right? But yes, he did. He does. He's rebuilding the Jeep from the ground up. He bought a Jeep and he's rebuilding it to movie quality. Movie first type thing. He's going to bring it to the Goonies Festival in 2024 in June. That's the plan. Where the guy who just bought the Goonies house has some of the actors who are coming back as well to be at the house, and they want the Jeep up there at the house.
Oh, that's so fun.
Oh, dude, that's bad.
So Troy is doing every detail, and if you saw us in our Three Amigos costumes, he's the reason they looked that detailed was because he was a very stickler for detail.
He loves the detail, and he loves
even though he's not haunting right now, he's
1031.
He is 1031. It's all year.
And beyond.
And as far as I know, with the plan of Troy and Angie, they are haunt superstars from back in the day. Once they get a new house, it's all back on again. So we will have the return of the Hellmouth and all of that. So let's see.
Well, that's fun news. I'm excited for that. I've been following along here and there.
Yeah, and now he has an actual YouTube page that's just for the Jeep, so you can just watch the Jeep stuff. So, let's see. You know what? I was gonna put up one of my own DIYs because I couldn't find one today, so we can skip that because we don't need to talk about me. And the other thing. Let's see.
Wait. Let's back up. Did you just say we're not talking about you? It's not about you tonight, Troy?
We're not gonna talk about it.
Dang.
No, we're not gonna talk about me.
All right.
Let's see.
Bandies.
Did I not do the new? I didn't. So I did not load up the convention in.
Looks like we're going to be talking about Troy. How odd.
We're not going to be talking about Troy. We do the Texas Haunters Convention has their classes up now. So you can go back in if you have registered for your pass. You can go in and register for all these classes, including my own Home Hunt Videography Part 1 and 2 with me and Christopher Presley. There it is.
Nice.
It's all about me.
It is.
All about me.
Great.
But yes, we have Bill Bornder. Bill Bornder's going to be doing his foam smithing.
It's a fucking haunt convention. Let's talk to Kevin.
I agree.
All right, good. Thank you. We should talk to Kevin.
I think we should get Kevin on.
Kevin Alvey. Kevin's not even here. Son of a bitch.
Kevin's not here.
This is
got to go back to me now.
It's Kevin in the dark. Let's talk to Kevin in the dark. Wait. I think he just realized.
Can we hear him?
He's coming through the curtain.
This suspense is killing me.
I hear an echo.
We run a tight. I think he put his. There he is.
Oh my gosh. My goodness. How fun is this?
Hello. Is anybody out there?
I'm not here.
Kevin Alvey. How are you doing, my friend? Me? I can.
Yes.
All right. Good. I'm here.
Were you having some audio visual problems before you got in there? Just because we cut so quickly, I assumed that you were running through.
I was sitting in the living room. I was sitting in the living room watching you on the iPad make fools of yourselves.
Of course. And
so,
then
that's why people tune in every week
so quickly, and I could just imagine going.
Well, I don't run unless I have to, and this is not a have to run situation.
Very good answer.
Good.
Very good answer.
Oh, Kevin. So, for those of the people that aren't in tune with haunting and they don't know who Kevin Alvey is,
then get off. Why are you watching this?
My thoughts exactly.
I agree 100%. But for the two people that don't know who you are, could you just give a little bit of bio of who you are and what the fuck That's fucking awesome. I haven't seen that
He
picture.
does run.
Who
He
you are,
lies.
I run a lot.
Who
That's
you
all
are
that
and what
is.
you do and what you do for the industry.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Alvey. I am the owner of Gore Galore. I've been in business 25 years, and all it really is I make monsters for a living. So, there you go.
Well, that to make monsters is an understatement, Kevin. You make the biggest, most badass, most gory monsters in the hunt industry, in my opinion.
Well, I try to be up there, but I wouldn't say that we have the biggest or the best, but we try to do things that are actor driven and not just animations, so that the actor has life to it that no animation could ever have. And that's really what sets us apart from everybody else.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, actor driven? Could you
actormatronic versus animatronic, and we also do animatronics too, of course, animations. But everybody kind of does animations. But actormatronic, or actor operated animatronic, which means the actor controls the movement, like the jaw movement or the head movement, because we do a lot of things that hang from tracks, and then have an actor that operates them, that drives them forward and pulls them back, and can tilt them left or right, and then can bite at the patrons or bump the patrons, even push them forward through a haunt. So it's really the actor. The prop itself is the eye candy, and the actor is the one that controls the action.
Yeah, you have more control over timing and what you do when you have an actormatronic.
Correct.
It's kind of like both at once. I mean, you look in there, and I can tell you the first time I ever saw one and used one, it was, wow, that's really cool. Look at that thing in there, and then it comes launching out at you, and you're getting the scare, you're getting the awe, you're getting everything all in one tool, and it's just such a brilliant idea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was fun kind of developing it, and it just just comes up an idea out of nowhere, and then I end up living the next 5 years based on that concept, because that's all we pretty much sold for the next 5 years. Actually, it's probably been more than 5 years, probably 10 now. But came up with one idea and ran with it.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. You've got these amazing actormatronics. Kevin Alvey, who is Kevin Alvey, and how did you even get into the haunted attraction industry? How long have you been doing this? I mean, let's go back to elementary school.
Baby Kevin.
Yes, baby
Kevin. Well, I'll try to do it in kind of chronological, but fairly fast. But my mom worked at Disney. We traveled around. My mom worked at Disney, so I got to go work, got to see a lot of mask shops because she worked there, see masks. I always had an interest in masks when I was little. Then spent a lot of time in the Haunted Mansion because obviously she worked there, so it was easy for me to be at Disney. With my dad and whatever, came to visit and took us, even though my parents weren't together. So there was always that interest in it. But the big thing happened in high school. I actually started working before I was 16. So I worked with a permit, 15 years old, driving a Pontiac Le Mans and delivering pizza for Una Pizza. And in October, right across the street was a building, and I didn't really understand what was happening then, but there was a haunted house right across the street. So after my shift, I just went over there and started, kind of talking to them, asking them about, what they did. And the owner, they had just shut down. So the owner, the couple guys that run it just invited me in and gave me a tour of the entire, spent the next an hour and a half giving me a tour through every scene in the haunted house, and just was really showing me everything. So I was like, man, this guy's awesome. These people are really cool. So I went to work with him the next night, and ended up working with him for now 35 years that I end up working with that haunted house. It's Newburgh Civitan Haunted House, or what they call a zombie farm. And it's been a while. But through working at that haunted house, I started designing and building props and doing fire escape routes and building walls and just developing scare ideas. I mean, the whole gamut. It was all of us learning and designing and building and just our own little haunted house, and with no budget. So everything was built rather than purchased. It's just how I got started. Built a 15-foot tall puppet, which is what we used outside. It had it in a throne, and it would stand up and chase people out of the scene in that area. I'm 15 foot tall. Of course, I was the only one that ever wore it. But we set it up on a cable. It's where all of the giant costumes and all of that, all of it came from. Was kind of doing that. While working at the haunted house, I talked to a guy that owned the local knick-knackery, kind of a haunt shop / holiday shop. And he told me I should go to Transworld show. So that's, through a local guy was informed of Transworld. So I got registered as a buyer for the haunted house, went to the Transworld show. And we're talking 1998, freaking the straight since 1998. That's how I remember that. Freaking the straight since 1998. So 1997, I went to Transworld as a buyer and just fell in love. And right there on the spot, decided I was going to vend next year. So I borrowed money from my girlfriend's dad, enough money to pay for a booth at Transworld. Did the so set up, and what did I have? I think I just had one 15-foot puppet, but I had him decked out as a cowboy. I did a foam cowboy suit for him because I thought it'd be hilarious. And then some head boxes. I think that was the first year, was just the head boxes, which I'm still in infamy for doing those. And I still have an original set in the shop. Wow. But doing head boxes, made just enough money to cover everything and also pay him back for the money that I borrowed. And then he informed me a year later that out of everyone that he ever knew, including his children, that I was the only person to ever pay back money that was borrowed from him, which kind of cool in itself. I paid him back with interest. I actually gave him interest on it. But that's how it got started. And it's really not where, it went far from there, because, every year was something different, starting to, trying to be creative, come up with new ideas and finding new genre and niches. Because I'd spent a lot of time just trying to find a niche, create a niche, and, do something that other people weren't doing, just so I could guarantee a market. Plus, I love puppets. So I knew that if I did something puppet driven, that it would be different, just because nobody thinks like that. They all think animations. Distortions is the only one that thinks that way. Try to do something with the actor. Yeah. So it was just creating my own market, creating my own niche, and that's where the actomatronic stuff came from. The others are 12-foot tall, giant costumes, and that was too big. It was too heavy, but we still sold several and kind of enjoyed making them. Built a building just to build those. But that's kind of a rough review of it. But the interesting thing is, it's always been everything that I ever did kind of led to that. Every single job that I did kind of helped me handle certain aspects of, kind of what I was doing. I even worked at Taco John's and did customer service, and learned that people are screwed up, but you still have to be nice to them. You know, the customer's always right was always the motto and the saying, even though I don't believe that's always
right?
true. But you just have to be polite about it. But learning how to deal with people was kind of a big thing. And then I went to work for it's called Fire and Rain, or Rainbow Communications, and it was a company that built sets for corporate meetings. So I started to learn pneumatics and apply them there. So we actually built 2 parade floats for the Kentucky Derby parade, and both of them won. And it was the only parade floats that we ever built. But it was because we had this outside idea of how to do things outside the box. Because I was combining things with just a float, combining pneumatics, combining motorized drive. So we did things that nobody else was doing on these floats. So it was kind of cool. But even that job, I showed up with that 15-foot puppet on, and they hired me on the spot. So I knocked on the door with that, and that's why they hired me, is because I showed up with this 15-foot puppet. And the reason they hired me said, because you think outside the box. You don't think like anybody else. So that's how I actually got that job. But that job was really critical in teaching me how to do a lot of theatrical building, kind of doing wall builds and making things light so that they could be broken down and packed up and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a rough plan. Actually, no plan, but a rough idea of how it all kind of came to pass.
I'm interested in where you got your name, Gore Galore. Where did that come from?
Just a little alliteration. The first name that we came up with was going to be Cadaverama. And I thought that pigeonholed us a little too much, because it was, hey, if I could do this, I can only build cadavers.
Mm-hmm.
And Gore Galore was just, I don't know. It didn't come out of anywhere other than I like gore, and I'm going to make a lot of it. And the weird thing is that name doesn't even really represent, really who we are, because we don't do a lot of gore. It's puppets. So it's puppets galore. And by the way, I also own that URL, puppetsgalore.com.
I love that.
So, but
don't get any big ideas, people.
Hey, you can't touch it. It's already in my database.
That's fun. Hi, Troy. Welcome to the show. I feel like he's like a couple seconds behind everybody today.
Yeah, Troy's
I'm behind everything tonight. Just ignore me. I'm trying to bring stuff up, and it's not doing well tonight.
Do you have any questions for Kevin, Troy? Okay. Well, I have a question for you, Kevin. So
I was
I swear he's doing this shit on purpose.
No, I don't think so.
What happened?
So, Kevin, you're a huge haunter. You've been doing this your whole life. You're married. You've got a kid. You live in a nice house. Where does your family fit into haunting and Gore Galore? Do they? I mean, obviously they support you, but like, is this a family business? Is this how does Natalie and Jet fit into this?
Jet's a haunter, and so is Natalie. Jet's the one that wants to go to MHC as well as Natalie. Natalie loves MHC. So I don't typically do MHC because our products are too big, and so we don't typically generate a lot of sales there. But they want to go so bad, we found a way. And then I kind of gave the idea, the creepy closeouts idea, to Transworld, and that's why they're doing that. And then obviously we're going to bring 9 giant costumes to sell at that, plus a lot of miscast and things that we can't sell. So there'll be a lot of that stuff to sell there too. But she's also our seamstress. She does all the sewing for all of the grabbers and all the giant costumes. And Jet just always comes up with ideas. Hey, Dad, you should try this. And then he'll say, how about a guy floating? And he just comes up with ideas and comes out to the shop every day and to check on everybody, make sure everybody's doing a good job. He's 8 years old now. But
Nice.
you know, he builds his own haunted houses out of Legos, and you know, and does lots of drawings, lots of character drawings, and you know, he's a haunter. He's going to be a haunter. He's going to be working in haunts. I think he's even going to take the haunter class at MHC.
That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
But he'll always want to be a clown because he's just a clown.
No, not from your family.
Right.
So I don't want to take over this show, but I just love talking to you, Kevin. So I have another question for you. I know you've done pretty much everything in the haunt industry from a vendor's side or perspective, including at one point there was a haunted house that was going to be built on your property.
It was something I was looking at.
Yeah, you mentioned Jet wanting to work at a haunted house. I just wondered if that idea of going past Gore Galore into another realm of the haunt industry would ever solidify.
It very possible. I mean, I'm obviously busy 24/7, you know, with haunting, and then, you know, I like to grow. I like plants. I garden. I grow figs. You know, I do all that. But if I got a financial backer that I thought would really support what I did and gave me absolute creative freedom, and I'm not happy with partnering with anybody, just because I don't like giving up control. I'm an absolute control freak because I know how I want it. You know, I'm not going to argue. This is how I want it to be. You know, and so I own the business. I don't have a partner, and it's just not something I really want to do. But I would financially join with someone, and if we could find a good location, and it would be the most, you know, well decorated, actor driven monsters. You know, every scene would have an actor driven monster in it, or possibly some good animations if they seemed very not so generic or not so static. You know, it's just, but it would be all stuff that I would build. You know, everything would be custom built in house, and then those items. The reason I always wanted to do that was because it would help me generate more ideas to fit scenes and provide really good quality product that I could test in the haunt before I brought it to market. So I actually thought it would make me a better vendor because it would make the products better. I'd put them through the tests, and then if they break, I would redesign so that they would last, and then I would eventually take them to market. And it would be a 24/7 constant thing. You know, it's creating, putting it in the haunt, testing it, seeing how it goes, then taking it to market. I mean, I don't understand how I couldn't, you know, have better luck with that aspect of things if I would do everything that way. You know, keep it off the market for a year or so I can run all those tests and stuff. But yeah, find me someone that's willing to financially back me, and which is what everybody would want, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
I'd go to market with it as long as I can have the time, but I'm so busy as a vendor. I think it's kind of bad sometimes for vendors to also be haunters because something gets lost in the mix. You know, it's hard for me to do both. It's hard for anybody to do more than one or two things, you know.
Right.
Kind of just then you got to start splitting your time. Oh, I can't take orders after this time because I got it. You know, it's just, it can get kind of crazy.
That's my life. That's literally my life. You just described my life.
I think the only person that's able to do it is Alan, and I don't know how. I think Alan, actually, there are 7 of him. We just only see one all the time.
Right.
I think
right. You're right.
He's cloned himself though. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's got all these little minions. He's got minions to help him too.
Yeah. Well, he just made a bunch of masks, and they're all wearing them. There's just his minions wearing the masks, and we all think.
Yes.
I don't know who we interviewed last season. I'm not sure if it was him.
Right.
But anyway.
let's see.
Are you out of questions?
Yeah, I think.
No.
Okay, good.
I'm not out of questions.
I don't want to feel like I'm asking all the questions.
No, I am fine with No,
that noise is driving me crazy.
Yeah, who is that?
I don't know. It's making me nuts, but it's driving me crazy.
I think. Hold on. Let's try
Is
this.
it Kevin? Hold on. Let's do this. Okay, I muted Kevin.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Yeah, it's Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, it's you.
It's me.
Do you hear it?
It sounds like you're typing.
It's
I don't know if
it
it
sounds
like
like
there's some
your microphone is.
some monster in there. It's like eating your soul.
Yes.
Well, let's see what we can do to change it. Give me a second.
That's fine.
Oh my goodness.
So while you're
we'll
trying to
watch. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Is that better?
Yes.
Hey, there it is. We're good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, it sounds good.
There we go.
Sounds good,
That's
Kevin.
good. All right.
I'll tell you what. Between Troy's janky internet.
So I'm looking at these monsters. Kevin.
I know.
They're ginormous, and there's a lot of them. Where do you make this, and how much space do you need to create these monsters on a large scale? Can you give us an idea of like how, like, walk us through a day at Gore Galore? And I mean, I've already walked a day at Gore Galore, and I just want to hear it come out of your mouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gore Galore started. It's a chicken coop. I bought a property in a little town, and Gore Galore literally started it didn't start in a chicken coop. It started in the basement or first level of a 2-story house. But where we're at now is an old converted chicken coop. And originally it was 3,000 square feet, but over the years I've added, so I'm now up to 7,000 square feet. And then every department has its own space. So there's casting, there's a fiberglass room, there's a trim studio, there's a sewing studio, there's an office. There's 2 paint departments, 2 separate paint studios. There's my sculpting studio. And then there's the fabrication department, which is a metal shop all in itself. So every space is big enough to do what it needs to do. And then I try to have enough people for one person for each department. And that's the case, except I run 3 departments by myself because I can't maintain enough crew to be able to run everything. I spent about 6 months training people. And I can't keep. I've let go of 2 or 3 people just in the last 2 months.
Wow.
And it's just things have changed since COVID. So I do all the fabrication myself, mainly because I just absolutely enjoy welding. Right. And then I sculpt a lot. I don't do all the sculpting. I also have Jason Tarpley that sculpts. He's also one of the painters. And we're coming up. So that's really kind of this, but I walk in, check my emails, then check with each department, set them. If they don't know exactly what they're doing by our schedule, then I sit with them and show, we kind of discuss what they're going to do for the day. So I'll hit each department and talk about that, help them solve whatever problems that they're having. And then eventually go to either my own sculpting studio and build somebody's order, or go to the fabrication and work on welding an armature for something that's either being cast or has been cast, so it could be installed. So today I cut and welded. This is just part of it. First thing I did is I went in and applied a coat of latex on a Mr. Dead, which is a rotten horse head actomatronic that we're doing for Terror in the Corn, which is Michael and
Bart.
Michael and Bart. And then I applied one coat and then went to the fabrication department and cut all the steel for a kill saw. Then went back in and applied another coat on the Mr. Dead, and then went back over to fabrication after that was done, and then welded up a Pump King photo op steel armature and got that ready, and then left that and went and applied another coat. So now I've got 5 coats of latex on this thing. Some of these things it's about the only thing I still hand build. It's a molded piece. I pull a casting, and then I do a coating of shrink wrap and latex on it to give a really nasty skin, because I will go back in and rip a lot of that off and then reapply a little more latex to lock it in place. So it's just really nasty looking skin sloughing off and just kind of just this dead horse. So that's kind of the idea. That's why I do it that way. But so that was, let's see, part of it. And then I'll go back and do lunch, then hit all the departments and make sure everybody's, again, on task, or if they're done for the day, saying bye and going home, which is walking out the door and walking in the house.
So everything's like on your property then. So your shop is like right there.
Yeah, I've got 4 acres and everything's right here. I probably leave my property once every 2 weeks.
I love that. Oh,
if I'm being
I'm such
honest.
a homebody. I wish I never had to leave.
Yeah, I sometimes I need to leave just so I can get out of here.
Right.
But I do enjoy it.
Question: How do you separate it? I mean, it's literally in your backyard. It's like 10 steps to your office from your house. How do you not like work 24 hours a day? And how do you separate work from family life, from gardening, from all of your other hobbies and such?
Well, the fact is I'm always doing something, but I'm not always doing Gore Galore. I do set work hours and I do stop working. So, but I don't even go home when I stop working half the time. I usually spend an hour and a half in the garden as soon as I leave work. And then that gives me my decompression. That gives me time to decompress. So I'm looking at flowers or playing with
grounding.
Figs, but I'm grounding. Exactly. Yeah. I'm grounding. I'm
absolutely.
I'm growing things. I'm finding reinforcement to live. Mm-hmm. I'm finding beauty in things. But what's funny is then that comes full circle, because I'm so deep into plants right now. We're about to do a whole new sculpting session and creating a whole bunch new geraniums that are all plant-based monsters. Nice. And it's because I just love plants. I'm going to pull that into Gore Galore.
Fun.
I love it.
So, it's kind of, but I never stop. That's the problem. I finally stop. I finally stop and sit down, have dinner, and, talk to Jet and put him to bed. And then Natalie and I sit down and, watch a movie or something.
Yeah.
For like an hour and a half, and then I go to bed. I'm probably in bed. I'm probably in bed by 9:30 to 10 o'clock every night.
Wow.
But I'm also up at 5:30 to 6 every morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go again.
So like where like if you were just sitting around to, like tomorrow night, and like how would you come up with a new idea? Like, is it just you're just literally just sitting around and you're at the dinner table and just something comes to your mind and you just go like, I got to go sculpt this. I got to go put this down. What is like that process of coming up with something new?
Well, a lot of times it's customers asking for stuff, but it really is just like I have to fill that out. I don't do everything that everybody asks for. I have to filter through those and say that doesn't really fit our product line. Oh. Or if it does, do you want an exclusive? If you don't want an exclusive, can I add it to our line? Right. No one's ever asked for an exclusive because they don't want to have to pay 10 or 20 times what it would be to add it to our product line. Because if I had to mold that, they have to absorb, they have to eat all that expense if I can't resell those items. So what normally would run somebody $4,000 to $5,000, multiply that by 10 if they want an exclusive. I don't mind doing it, but nobody else wants to pay $50,000
gonna cost
something they could get for $5,000, and then they're the only one going to have it for 1 year, and then it's on the market the next year.
Yeah.
So probably something that I was actually talking to my friend Bill Borner, who does Mind Trap Creations, and he was showing me something he's making for the convention he's coming up to. And he's like, I just don't know how to price this. And I'm like, you could do like 125, or you could do, or they buy 2 of them and they get them for $100 each or something like that. And he's like, no, that's way too cheap. And I'm like, that's why I don't price props, and that's why I'm not a prop builder. Like, how do you come up? I mean, not without I understand there's profit involved with it, there's time and stuff like that, but like, because you're creating it, and I know there's supply costs, but how do you come up with a price for something? And like, I mean, do you like wonder, like, is anybody going to pay this, or is it too low? How does that process work?
I don't think. I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. Well, I mean, really, there's, I've had product in the market for so long, and I kind of know my material costs, even though I might not run a spreadsheet for each one every time.
Right.
I kind of know what those expenses are. I kind of know what the labor is. I kind of know this and this, but then I also kind of know what the glass ceiling is. There is a glass ceiling. I'm not allowed to charge more than a certain amount for, just depending on the complexity of the prop or whatever. Nobody's going to buy it. If it's above a certain amount, the only companies that are going to buy it are theme parks, because they can justify it, and they see that's a quality effect. It's going to last a long time. It's worth $12,000.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to set your prices right in a market where everybody doesn't charge nearly enough. I'm sorry, but it's the case. So we all, Scare Factory charges way less than what they should be charging, and they're kind of screwing me out of being able to charge what I need to charge to really make a profit, or really to do this right. But that's because they do it kind of in volume.
Okay.
But it really is supposed to be a mathematical calculation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically the same thing as everything else. It's determining your materials, your labor, your overhead. And then you have that factor. Then it's, 3 times, that there's supposed to be some math involved in that calculation. I don't think anybody in this industry does it. It's just what they think they could get out of it. And it's probably why I can't sell a lot of small items, because I still set my prices too high, even on those. But if I'm going to make it, I'm not going to make it for nothing. So I'd rather make fewer than lose my butt on it. And I have the potential to lose my butt really bad. So, because we put a lot of time into our painting. I mean, our detailing, I think, is probably the one thing that we're hurting on or not doing as well is our eyes. So we in the last several years, we're using a lot more glass eyes, and that really elevates it. It ups the material cost a lot more. But if I buy a set of glass eyes for $30, and it takes 3 hours to paint eyes, where am I I'm losing money painting eyes.
Yeah.
Just buy the glass eyes and be done with it. And then they're so much more realistic. And then you can perma-blood over them and give them a little, add a little bit more detail, and then they really look just absolutely nasty.
Yeah.
So,
do you ever like price things backwards, where you're like, okay, this is my idea that I have, and this is the budget I think I'm going to work with, and this is what I want out of it, and like kind of, because like that's how I do it backwards in the haunt. I'm like, okay, if I want to do this scene, this is how much money. How do I work backwards from there? Not like, let's just build this scene and see how much money I could spend. So do you ever do it backwards? Like, if I want to sell this prop for $6,000, this is how much money I'm willing to put into it. Time, this is how many hours. Or do you just say, I want to make this, and whatever it takes is my vision?
Well, I've got, since I have these niches, like I've got these niches, the grabbers, and then the actomatronics, and then this item. As long as I'm working within those categories, I already know what the price structure is, because it's already laid out.
Right.
And then I'll adjust it. I'll adjust it based on the complexity of the prop. If it requires a little more of this, if we're putting hair on it, Or fully herring it. Well, that's an added half day. So then we have to add a half day of labor time for the painter to be able to do that hair work. And those are the kind of adjustments. So
that makes sense.
So as long as I'm working within the categories, it's pretty easy to figure out. It's when I'm developing something brand new.
Right. Right.
Like the animations, that's when it kind of comes into play. And sometimes I don't know until, I actually have to fully build out the prop, to really be able to set that price and then run those calculations.
Right.
Things just
interesting. I've always wondered how these companies price their stuff, and I know, there are plenty of people who say I'm not going to pay that. That's way too much. And, I always say, well, you go make it for less, which you won't. But also it's time versus, want. Like, there are plenty of people out there who can build some of this stuff at home. They can build one of them, maybe, but they can't build as many as you're doing, all that other stuff as well. But they would build it for themselves, and that's fine. But when they say, haunts don't have that kind of time, or they don't want to have that time of kind, they want to go do other things. They just want to buy the prop, get it shipped, and get it done. They know it's going to work. They know it's going to look good, and they don't care that they didn't build it.
They need to go do other things. There's a lot of things that are a lot more important than building a prop.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
For haunts,
and maybe they have
operation.
Right.
Well,
and that's where the issue comes in, is that you can't sit there and say, well, all the stuff at Transworld's overpriced, or it's all big ticket items. It's that way because there's obviously a reason for it, and everybody's buying it because that's what their budget is for, and they know they're going to recoup it in the ticket sales, and the experience, and they know they don't have to build it. It just gets delivered in August, and away they go.
Hopefully, depending on who you're ordering from.
From the majority of the good companies, it arrives on time.
I will say though that it is, as a haunt owner, it is nice to have, going back to your pricing and whether people think you're too high. I believe we're the only ones in the area, not including Pittsburgh area, but we have a lot of haunts around us that have a gold grabber. I think we're the only ones. There's me.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I think we're the only ones that have one because we went to Transworld that year and specifically bought that. That was our purchase. I think we might have bought a couple little things, but I'm not spending, $200 on this and $500 on that and $1,000 on this. And you know what I mean? That was our big purchase that year. And by the way, it's held up amazingly well. I think we purchased what was the first year you did the skeleton? I think that's the year we got it. It was 2018 or I think it was 2018.
I completely lose track of time on that.
Yeah.
Something I will say about the animatronics and grabbers, and this is something interesting for you. I've actually marketed this way that a lot of our props should be bought with marketing budget rather than prop budget because you can use them in your marketing to get word of mouth out, because it's one of the things that your customers always talk about when they step out of the attraction. Yep. So then it becomes marketing money.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right.
I've positioned it that way. I have talked a couple people into a purchase by doing that, because it totally makes them think differently about where the money's coming from.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
It's definitely something. It's the very last thing in our haunt. And one year we actually had a scare cam on it. I have no idea why we haven't done that again. But
now you need to.
We definitely need to get one again. We have some great footage of that, and it's the last thing in our haunt. And as we've talked about on the show plenty of times, the patron remembers the beginning and the end, and rarely the middle, which we always say. So yeah, people run out of there like, what the heck? I had no idea that was going to come and actually touch me, etc. And like we were saying before, it definitely has a different personality depending on who's running it. Mm-hmm. And there's some times when we don't have the right person running it, and but that's who we have that night, and you know, it's a tough thing, but it's a really nice place for someone who isn't, I hate to say who isn't into haunts, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't want to put a mask on. I don't want my face to be seen. I don't want to be acting. It's a great alternative and just as important role. And we always say that whenever we're training our actors, like they're, you know, we need somebody that is gonna that's gonna be able to have like good timing. And we have a little camera back there too, I think.
Yeah, little backup cameras are very helpful for your.
I don't know what we have. I don't run it. I don't have the girth and the strength and the whatever. Yeah, I don't run it. But yeah, so it's definitely a big thing that people talk about when they leave the haunt.
Marketing, man. There's your word of mouth right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got another question for you, Kevin. I know we're running down to the wire here, but I just wanted to ask this one. You've been doing this for how many years? 25, 20?
Gore Galore has been in business 25 years, but I've been doing this 35 years.
Okay, so 35 years. You're now here. Where do you see yourself in another 35 years?
Just doing the same thing, just getting better at it.
Are you going to bigger scale? Or do you like where you're at with the size of the company now?
Well,
would you scale?
That's a complicated thing. It's not even about me. It's not even about me at this point. It's about that I cannot maintain a sizable crew anymore. There's just nobody around here that is willing to do what I need them to do.
Yeah.
So it's
Troy,
just gonna be small.
Troy, you sure you wanna move to Texas?
Yeah, I think Cynthia, Indiana is calling your name, Troy.
I am all thumbs. I'm all thumbs when it comes to this stuff. I am all thumbs.
Yeah, he'll cut it off.
You know what? I can't even help him with his marketing. I can't even help him with the marketing stuff. He's got all the marketing stuff down, everything. No, he doesn't need me. He just needs
Kevin, you're the man.
Able-bodied, people that can do what he says and stay.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what though, that's the crazy thing about doing Gore Galore, having done this. It really has helped me be the best person that I am, the most rounded skills, because, I didn't build the website, but I maintain the website. I do all the images. I do all the marketing. I don't do the art. I don't do all the sketches and drawings and stuff. I've got somebody else to do that because they're just so fast. Johnny, his name's Johnny.
Right.
I just come up with an idea and Johnny, sketch this up for me, and he sketches it, and then I cut him a check. So it works out pretty well. Plus, he's just so he's just so creative. But it's crazy how we become better people. I just want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband, a better business owner. Better at customer service, and I know all these rules, all these things I have to do. But I've become better because of Gore Galore, and I think Gore Galore is better because who I am. So it's just, it all goes hand in hand. I couldn't be happier. I just get a little burnt out. So then that's when I go play with the plants, and then I come back full speed again. So it really helps. So everybody really kind of needs this little other thing to kind of fill the hole when you're feeling kind of worn out, and needs this other thing to focus on to give you a little rest, a little meditation. And then it allows you to fill yourself again. Your bucket, man, our buckets get empty sometimes. And so you just gotta fill your bucket with something. And then you'll have your bucket to put it into what you need to put it into. So you need breath. If you don't keep taking breath, then we're kind of done. But I couldn't be happier.
Online, right. When I see people online say, "Oh, we can't do the haunt this year," mainly a lot of home hunters will say, "Oh, I can't do the haunt this year. I've got this going on, and I'm like, good. Take a year off, go travel, go see haunts, go see what else you haven't been able to see for the years. Take a breath and recharge. I've done it a couple times, and I've come back even more creative because I let myself enjoy the rest of the season and everything that I was missing that's outside of Halloween.
Right.
So I'm huge proponent on that.
I mean, you can't keep putting energy out without drawing it from somewhere. You've got it's just you become vacant. So
yep,
I agree.
I just think you're better for it.
Hey, Susie, is it time for a question?
It is time for a question.
That was a very nice segue, Jeff.
Yeah.
I know you like that. We're professionals now.
Yeah, we are. Tonight we are.
If you could create a scene in a haunt with unlimited money and space, what scene would you build?
Oh, this is a great one for Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, right now, I already built it. Well, right now I'm ready to do, like I said, I've already brought it up. Just a massive greenhouse, and put all these crazy plants and animations and actomatronic stuff that I want to create. So just give it to me. Who's giving me the money? I'll do it.
Oh my God! Come here and do it. I don't know if I have the money, but come here and do it.
Well, I kind of need the money too.
Hey, every time you say that, I'm thinking little shop. Like that's where my brain is.
You know what? I think Plants versus Zombies. That's exactly where I go. Every time.
There you go.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, I did a 40-foot greenhouse at the trade show at Transworld. We didn't get all of the geraniums built that I wanted to do, but I did get to do that giant greenhouse, carved foam with the round top windows, made the metal windows, rusted everything. I put Plex in the back windows, but they really needed like lightning from outside, to kind of put them in the window kind of thing, but we didn't do that. But yeah, greenhouse, and it doesn't matter. You tell me what to build, and I build it.
Right.
I just try to do it. I just try to do it bigger and better than what. It's all about layers anyway. 3-4 layers deep. Not just a wall, not just a vacuform wall. It's like you use the vacuform wall as your back canvas, and then you build off of that 3 or 4 layers.
Yeah.
That's how you get a scene. It's not just putting up walls and painting them black.
Dent Schoolhouse has a greenhouse, and we're also a schoolhouse, and to tour their haunt and see their ideas, because you feel like you're kind of pigeonholed into one thing. We're school, and why would there be a greenhouse in a school? But if Dent did it, damn it, we can do it too.
Well, I know schools that have greenhouses. So, there's a lot of schools that teach horticulture.
That would be so cool.
Yep.
So
we have some here.
Yeah, it fits just fine, and I'll have all the plants for you. So let's go.
All right. Let me write this down. Let me write this down in my journal, because I'm manifesting this.
Gore Galore. And then you also need, because I know that somebody let's see, earlier I think was that Shattered Nightmares is eagerly awaiting their Crocosaurus. And that could go in your swamp too.
Yep.
You've got
that would fit.
That's cool.
And that's a baby croc. That's the laser swamp one. That's the little one.
He's
Troy.
I know. Poor Troy.
Poor Troy.
Poor Troy.
I know. It's just.
Are you with us, Troy?
He's
here.
He's so special.
He's struggling today. He's struggling today.
I'm so special.
Hogwarts had a greenhouse. Yeah.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Courtyards.
Yeah.
I have a courtyard at my house. I have a veranda at my house. You have to say it like that. Veranda.
A veranda. Yep, I've got a veranda too.
Yeah. Those old rich people that built this.
Kevin, we got another question here from Hugh.
Oh yeah.
He says, what type of welding do you do? TIG, MIG, stick, arc?
Mostly MIG, but I also do oxyacetylene, and we have the capability to weld aluminum, so TIG and stick. But we basically weld everything with MIG. And I just put together an arc flat welding table, and it's the first time I've ever used a jig table to weld. But man, it cut my time in half. So more monsters, baby, more monsters.
Speaking of more monsters, Susie, how many days do we have left, Susie?
Hold on. Siri, how many days until October 31st, 2023?
It's 168 days until then.
Look at that.
168 days.
Days are ticking away.
That means Kevin has 68 days.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Hey, me too, because Halloween isn't the start, you know?
That's true.
No.
We start at the end of September.
That's not even the end. Come on.
No, that's true. It's not anymore. Not anymore. You're into November. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then you're into Christmas. Then you're into, Valentine's Day and the blackout haunts. And
it doesn't ever end. I just get a cycle. It just kind of starts and then peaks and then starts again.
Yeah.
Ever spiraling snake.
Yeah. God, I was hoping he was going to say something about fire, but he didn't. He said snake, and so I was like,
spiraling ball of
segue.
fire snake.
Spiraling fire.
Shit is loud. You got to turn that volume down.
It's not loud on my end. I don't even know.
It's not
anymore.
loud on my end either.
I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just
My
gonna
ears
say
is
I'm
like,
packing.
"Papa." Anyway,
I'm out till June. Bye.
The end of our show always ends with 5 rapid fire questions, and we fight about changing them every week, but we still do the same ones. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Try and respond to them as quick as possible. Are you ready?
Sure.
And number 1, if you had an hour with any haunter, who would it be?
Oh, see, that's just not fair. That's just not fair. John the Flamboy. He and I hang out and talk a lot, so it's fun. Always fun, John.
Oh, yes.
Okay. You're the first son that I already know.
Yeah, this one.
This isn't even
No,
fair.
This one kind of lost.
Everybody's waiting for this.
You're the first one on the trade show floor. What booth do you go to, and what do you purchase first?
Bum, bum, bum.
You walk in and you see that first booth.
I don't purchase anything, so it doesn't. I walk in. I go to my booth, and I don't get to go out except to pee.
Exactly.
So just give it up, because that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's say you weren't Gore Galore. Where would you go?
Gore Galore.
Yes.
You know
yes.
it.
The one night we thought we were not going to get a Gore Galore answer.
Yes.
We get a Gore Galore answer.
Pretty much. All right. Question number 3: Troy or Dan?
For what?
That's all you get. That's all you get. That's all you get.
You got to go.
Let me just say.
Oh, it's got to be Dan, because
okay.
I'll make him my beep.
I just to go on the record, I have been in Kevin's pants before.
That's right, you have.
You both need to calm your tits tonight.
You've got to find that picture. I've got to find that picture.
I know I have it somewhere. Remember when
yes.
I'll put a little context to this so Troy can laugh about it. I never
it's funny.
It's hilarious. So remember when I made those little standees, little single stick things, Troy? Troy's frozen. Troy, you remember this? So we had these little things, and I had a little me on a popsicle stick.
Yes.
Kevin got a hold of one. Next thing I know, Kevin's sending me pictures of me coming out of his zipper.
Oh yes.
Wow.
I have seen that one. Yes.
Oh, and Natalie's cleavage. We did that too.
It was in Natalie's cleavage too. Yes.
Please find those photos.
Yes.
They're really, truly ultra funny.
They are ultra funny. That was good stuff. Those are the days. Those are the days. Many more to come, right?
Always.
All right. Question number 4. If you had a chance to go to any haunted attraction, which one would it be?
Eloise.
Where's that?
I haven't Eloise Asylum. I haven't been there yet.
That's in Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. That's been said before. It might have been the night you weren't on, Dan.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's on the tour, the MHC tour.
It is.
And literally, if it's not on everyone's bucket list, it needs to be, because they're doing things that nobody else is doing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's on my list.
And they have a lot of Gore Galore stuff. So yeah.
I'm going to try to find a haunt that doesn't have your stuff. I am yet to find it yet, but I will.
Yeah. Well, if they don't have a budget, if they have like no budget at all and they're charity, then they might not have it. But other than that, if they have a budget, they typically have Gore Galore stuff.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And then the last question, which I'm kind of interesting to see how you play this, and I feel I know the answer to it.
Yeah.
Actors or animatronics?
And you can't say both.
No, see.
Always actors.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I have to move this category over. I got to put it down.
Yeah, because what would his animatronics be without if they're actormatronics? What would they be without the actors, right?
I would just assume that Kevin would have just said actormatronics, and we would all said touche, and then we moved on.
That would have been it.
Well, I mean, that would have been both.
Yes.
That's my answer.
Yep.
It's still actormatronics, whether you like it or not. But that's okay.
that's rounding out the show.
Do you want to plug anything for MHC and Gore Galore and all that before we show off your socials and all that kind of stuff and where they can find you?
Well, yeah, man, I didn't even research and look up what our booth number is. We're in the 2937, 2939. So it's Gore Galore and Karloff's Creations, because the wife will have her own booth this year, selling her purses and all her sewn goods.
I have a couple of her pieces.
Yeah. It's awesome. So we'll be there together doing, obviously it's one booth, but I wanted her to be able to say Karloff's Creations was there.
That's awesome.
So that's what we're doing. But we'll have the two booths plus the creepy closeouts stuff. So a lot of stuff at MHC to look at. I'm also bringing I have a ton of handheld weapons, like a lot of the post-apocalyptic stuff that have been sitting for a while. So I'm going to run them at 25% off on those weapons to try to move some of that stuff so I don't have it sitting up on a shelf.
Yeah.
That's one. Two is I'm bringing a kill saw and a pumpkin photo op. With the kill saw, I'm actually setting up a cage, and I'm going to be operating it in character as Dead Nugent. So that's my main.
Love it.
Troy, did you find a picture of Dead Nugent? He's awesome.
Oh, Troy. Is Troy with us anymore?
Yep. And then number 3, I'm bringing all of the mosses. We actually vend this special moss packaging. They're great big boxes rather than these little bitty packages that you find at Joann's or whatever. They're by the box, like a 5-pound box of moss. And I have all these different versions of mosses to do distressing. And I apply it with foam, a 2-part foam. And so I was going to do a how-to in how to apply that foam and then stick that moss to it to be able to do distressing in a haunt, which is also the best kind of distressing for a greenhouse.
Indeed it is. See how this all goes around marketing? Good job.
Boop, boop, boop.
Well,
there you go.
There he is.
There's Dead Nugent.
I love it.
I have contacts on under those big glasses, but you can never see them, so I don't even have to wear the contacts.
It's fantastic. Well, Kevin, I just want to say thank you. And nobody else has any questions, and nothing get Kevin off to bed here. No,
I think we are good. Well, I will also say thank you for coming on in short notice. We did have a reschedule happen yesterday, so our original guest had a conflict, a scheduling conflict. So I thought, you know what? Everybody keeps saying Gore Galore Prop, so why not bring on Kevin? And I messaged him, and he said absolutely. So I appreciate that on short notice.
For sure.
Glad it worked out.
So you can check out Gore Galore on their Facebook page here. You can all the stuff that they put up, all the different pictures, the progress pictures of their new shop stuff and new toys they're buying and everything. You can obviously go to gore-galore.com, and all of their stuff will come up that you can buy. Do you generally have, like, obviously the actomatronics and stuff like that, those have to be built, but do you have like a bunch of stuff in stock that's on here, or is it just kind of hit and miss of what's available at any time?
There's never, our definition of our company is assemble to order. So we don't have any inventory space in our shop. So we don't inventory really anything other than some small weapons and things. We might have some of those on the shelf, which is why I'm bringing them to MHC. So, but no, mostly everything is made to order. Our schedule is always full, but
always that little bit of right. But that means every single one of these might be a tiny bit different than the other one. So you're getting a unique piece, every time.
Every single one we make might be a little bit better than the last. Because we learn things. We're always learning things along the way, So making improvements every time we build something, we might try to improve it where we can.
You can also check out their Gore Galore Instagram, where more awesome stuff comes up. You can see Kevin running, and you also still do a home haunt though too, right? Or do you do that?
No. Well,
that's
every
show.
year we decorate. I shouldn't say home haunt, but yes, we decorate, and more decorating every year. Don't forget the TikTok, because the TikTok's got millions of views.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. He's on TikTok. Yes. He's everywhere where the social medias are. Gore Galore is there.
Yep.
Might be slow to post, but we're there.
It's definitely not.
Yes. So
definitely not trending.
All of that on there.
It's not trending.
No.
Right. I don't know what that is.
Good Lord, Troy. You have got to get your shit fixed for next week.
Oh my gosh.
Is he you lost him?
I don't know. I don't know. We're just watching other people's TikToks now, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if it's the heat. I don't know if we're just gonna watch TikToks for an hour next time. I don't know if it's the heat. I don't know if it's this computer. I don't know what's going on, but normally it's not like this, so I don't know. I can't say the heat because I'm going to Texas. So the heat's not.
Yeah.
But I have an air conditioner in my garage. I'm building my own studio in my garage. I already have it picked out. I already have it where I'm going to build it and everything. And it's going to have air conditioning plumbed into it. And it's going to be this nice little office cubicle. It's going to and I'm going to buy a brand new computer with the money that I'm putting aside on my down payment. I'm going to take a little bit of my down payment, put it over here for a new computer. So.
And separate your network so you have your own independent network just for the studio, because that's where the problem is.
And see, the thing is, I was looking at the garage the other day because our real estate agent just went through it, and the fiber internet box is literally like 5 feet from where I'm going to build the office. So I'm like, right in there.
There you go.
I'm going to probably hardwire every room because I want hardwire in there and everything. So I got lots of plans. So
plans.
Crap. Now I got to figure out who's on next week.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Hey, Troy, who's on next week? This is when you.
I got my spreadsheets up over here and everything. It's just that one thing.
Anyway, Troy, you suck tonight.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll figure it out. Bye.
Well, Kevin, I hope Troy comes back to say goodbye, but I do appreciate you coming on tonight. As always, it's been fun. It's been real fun.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So much fun.
Yes. Yes. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Everybody that's watching, next Tuesday, 8:00, Troy will figure out who it is. And we'll see everybody then. So take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
See you guys next week.
Bye. Thank you.